Good morning to everyone. Today we will do the speaking in English, and we will just go through some different aspects of what is my job, what I'm doing, and how I am doing my job day by day. And we will start just by seeing who am I. Then we will move to what I'm doing and what is the company in which I'm working. And starting from that, we will see how my work is related with the tourism and so with what you are studying. So let's start first with who am I. This is a brief summary of my curriculum. I'm Italian. I studied in Italy for the first degree of the university. Then I made the second degree. Well, my first degree was in political science. My second degree was in semiotics, or semiotic of communication. And then I moved abroad to study a master in business administration. So first I was living and studying in London, and then I moved to Mexico to complete my master. After my studies, I started working for a pharmaceutical company here in Barcelona. I was working in a company based on baby milk, so baby product. After 6 years in this company, because I started in this company as product manager, then I moved as area manager, and from there I started working on the prospection and on business development. So in the last 2 years, 1 year and a half, I moved from my previous company to OPKO Health, which is the company that I'm working today. And now we will just go through what I'm doing and what is the company that I'm working for, just to have a clear vision of my job. So today I'm a business development manager. What is business development manager? Because usually it's not so easy to understand what is the work of business development, because in some company there are a lot of different positions related to the business development, because we have a vertical and horizontal business development. What does it mean? Usually the business development can work on finding new products for the company, and this is the horizontal way of working for a business development manager. So in this case is when you move from one congress to another, just to check if there are some interesting products that could create and add value to your company. While in my case, I'm more a vertical business development, because it's more a job related with market prospection and with the management of the international clients. So my job is more related with discovering new market, find a new market, and to manage the existing client that we have in our portfolio. So just a small overview of the company that I'm working today. As I told you, I'm working for a pharmaceutical company. It's a pharmaceutical company based here in Barcelona. Was founded 25 years ago. This year we are celebrating the 25 years of the company. It's a family-based company, and it was a family-based company, because in 2012 we got acquired by a multinational, American multinational called OPKO, because before that the name of the company was Pharma Diet. Nowadays is OPKO, because now we are part of a multinational group, which is a multinational group based in US, in Miami. And we have now different branches. We have the Miami, we have a branch here in Europe, which is here in Barcelona. Then we have one in Chile, one in Mexico, and one in Dublin. So these are some. What are we doing in our company? Well, we are working with a pharmaceutical company, yes, but we are working mainly with food supplements and with medical device. When I talk about food supplement, I talk about nutraceuticals product, so product that you can purchase in pharmacy, but you can also purchase in supermarket. We are working, so I will say that 80% of our portfolio is based on on food supplement. Then we have 20% of product which are medical device. Medical device are product that you can purchase as well in pharmacy, but usually they have a mechanical aspect that that help the product to have a different function on your body. I mean, while the food supplement usually is a product made of natural elements, so it's a product much more easy to use. A medical device usually has a mechanism that works on your body, so that's why if you need to purchase a medical device, you are usually looking for a particular mechanism on the product. Apart from that, we have also one drug, and we are working with this drug. But I would say that the main portfolio is made by the food supplements. We are both working for the human line and for the veterinary line. So we have our portfolio, but we will see it later, is divided in different lines. What is the mission of the company? The mission is expanding a multinational company focused on innovation and marketing of medical device, drugs, and food supplements, both for humans and for animals. This is our mission, which is strictly related with the job that I'm doing. So this is our current portfolio. We are very strong in what we call the health and movement and health and vision. These are two lines very strong for our business. When I talk about health and movement, I'm talking about all the products related with sports, related with osteoarthritis, related with the problems of the joints. So the problem of the knee, the problem related with the age, and with the people who are doing sports in a very not a material way. On the other hand, we have also a very strong ophthalmological line, which we call the health and vision. This is a line based on a medical device. We're not talking anymore about food supplements. Then we have health and cognition, which is the line based on our drug product. Health and fun is just a part of our portfolio dedicated to food supplements related with toddlers, so with children. Then we are working with health and beauty and health and pets. Why I'm talking about health and beauty? Because one of our main products, well, I will say that the big majority of our product is made of collagen. Collagen, as you know, is very good for your knee, but it's not only for the joints, it's also good for the skin and for the beauty. So we have some product positioned in the beauty sector, so that's why health and beauty. And as I told you before, we have also a veterinary line. We have a very strong veterinary line, especially here in Spain, dedicated to all the problems, because when I'm talking about veterinary lines, I'm not talking about food for the pets. I'm talking about all the products related with the problems of the pets, which are the same problems that we are suffering as humans. So the problem of the knee, the problem of the osteoarthritis, and also the problem of the vision. Because nowadays the care of the pets is growing a lot, especially here in Europe. And in 2017, we decided also to launch a brand, a completely new brand, only for the internet. This is a brand called Vanir. It's a brand that we are selling only through our website, which is called Vanir. It's a brand connected with sports and connected with people who want to stay alive and we need to have more energy. We have 3 different products, one more related with sport, one more related with osteoarthritis, and one related with energy and concentration. So this is our new bet for this year. We are just making some TV spots on television. We are making some activities during the best marathons here in Spain. And we really believe in this product, and hopefully it will be a new market for us. So let's move a little bit more for what I'm doing day by day. What is the business development and how I'm doing my job. So a lot of companies nowadays, especially here in Europe, they started to notice that the market was not so was not so growing anymore. I mean, the market in the last 20 years, especially in Europe, was growing a lot. But in the last 5 years, there was a decrease in the national market, especially in the mature market as the European markets. That's why all the companies, especially the small companies, decided to move abroad, decided to look abroad to find new markets, to find a new possibility to increase the revenues. That's why, especially in the pharma sector, we see that today the international sales are a small part of the total revenue of the company, but if we think that in 2024 it will be much more bigger. Why? Because try to think, if you are try to sell your product in a limited market, like could be Spain, try to think the possibility that you have if you move abroad. I mean, you have the only limit is the world, so you will start selling your product outside in the world. This is not so easy as we can imagine, because when you move your vision from an internal market to external markets, it's completely different, and there are a lot of aspects to take care, and we will see all of them. So what we can say is that the globalization asked us to move our vision from a regional vision of your country to the worldwide vision of moving your, expanding your business outside your own market. So what is the strategy to follow when you want to when you want to pursue your idea to move your business abroad? So first of all, we can say that there is not only one correct strategy. You have to understand what is the best strategy you want to follow, because you need to understand exactly what you are doing. You need to understand exactly what your company is selling, because it's not easy to just take your portfolio, move to France and start selling your portfolio there. Why? Because every market has its own characteristic, and your product could be very good in Spain, but not so good in French or Italy. That's why you need to understand which segment you want to work for, because especially for the pharma sector, you can work on the pharmacy, you can work with distributor, you can work with a direct distributor in the country. So it's very important for as a first step, if you want to expand your business, to understand what you are selling. So it's very important to know your product, to know perfectly your product, and to know what are the good aspects of your product and the bad aspect of your product. That's why this is the first step. Then you need to understand what is your current condition, because you can have two different visions. Your idea could be to increase the international sales or also to optimize the international country structure. This is a big difference, especially when we are talking about the difference between small company and bigger company. If we think about Nestlé will never look to increase international sales and revenue just with prospection in new country. Why? Because Nestlé has its own factory, its own headquarters in different countries. So the idea behind Nestlé could be at least to optimize international country structure. While on a small company, small medium company like OPKO, we don't have this structure. So the idea is to work internally from the headquarters here in Barcelona and to start expanding abroad. That's why I was hired, because the idea was to expand and to increase the international sales and the revenue. So as a third step is to understand where you want to go, which is very, very important, and is one of the points where we will focus our discussion today. Because, as I said before, it's not easy to understand which market you want to operate and how you want to enter in this market. So, especially in the last couple of years, a lot of companies has focused their strategy on the emerging market. What are the emerging market? Are the market not so mature like the European market? Are the market that are that maybe 20 years ago were not ready to accept international distribution, but nowadays they are growing a lot. We are talking about Russia, we are talking about Turkey, Brazil, Mexico, and then the East, so Indonesia, China, but also the South America, like Colombia, and then India, and I would say also Poland. Poland is a very interesting country for, if we talk about nearest country to Europe. So I will underline these three different zones in the world. I will say Asia, I will say the East Europe, like Russia and Poland, and I will say the South America. So another point to take into consideration is that the size does not matter. Why is that? Because usually when we're talking about big companies, the decision-making process is very slow. Why is that? Because one day you will, for sure, you will learn that the biggest is the company, the slowest is everything inside the company. I mean, every decision you have to take, if you have a direct access to the CEO of the company, if you have direct access to the board of directors of the company, it's much more easy to take a decision and to move forward instead of the big companies or big multinational that have a board of directors which is not accessible for anyone. So in this case, you have every time that you want to take a specific decision, then you have to pass this decision to the board of directors, and this could cost maybe 1 month, 2 months, depending on the company. So sometimes smaller companies are better in the prospection work. Why? Because they are more fast in the way that they can take the decision more faster and so be the first in the market. Because in the emerging market, what is very, very important is to be in the first 5, 6, maybe 10 competitors at the beginning, because let's take a sample of China. China was a very nice, interesting market 5 years ago, and all the companies from all the world, they start selling to China, because China was coming out from a very difficult political situation, and they started to be open to the West, open to the market. All the companies moved there, so nowadays moving to China could be not the best option. Why? Because all the competitors are already there, so they are already selling. You will be the last of them, and it will be very, very difficult to move and to start your business there. So the geographical focus is the most important thing, in my opinion, at the beginning of choosing where you want to expand your business. What you have to take care? You have to take care of 3 important things. The first of all is the knowledge of the particular market regulation. What does it mean? It means when you want to enter in the market selling your product, you have to take into consideration that there are some rules that apply in that market and maybe does not apply in your market. So this is very important at the moment that you want to take this decision. Sometimes I will make you a sample to make it easier to understand. I want to sell a food supplement to Colombia. So a food supplement here is considered as a very easy accessible product. You can purchase it in the pharmacy without the need of any medical prescription. But if you want to sell the same food supplements maybe in Colombia or in Ecuador, it will not be possible to do it in the same way. Why? Because the regulation of the country understand that your product is not considered as food supplement, but is considered as a drug. So in this case, it's a big problem. Why? Because in order for you to register your product and enter in the market, they will ask you a list of documents, a list of documents for the market regulation that you will not be able to provide. Why? Because for you, your product is a food supplement, but for the Colombian market, it's not. They say that the ingredients, that special ingredient that you have in your product, for the Colombian authority is considered as an ingredient of a drug. So in this case, you will not be able to register the product because they will ask you all the drug documentation, but you will not be able to provide them. Why? Because it's a food supplement for us. So, there are some, every country has its own different characteristic. That's apart from that, you have to consider also the market's incalculability. I mean, there are a lot of different factors that affect your idea to enter in the market. And this factor, we will see it later, are strictly connected with the culture and with the people of the market, because doing business is not just entering in a room, presenting your portfolio, saying this is the product, this is the price, okay, and we agreed, we shake hands, and everything is fine. It's not like that, because there are a lot of factors that you need to understand, to take into consideration when you are talking to a stranger of a different nationality. But this is something that we will look later. And then another very important thing is the importance of the previously gained knowledge of the particular sector. What does it mean? It means that once you start moving your business, expanding your business abroad, you will learn a lot of experience on how to deal with different markets. So it's very important to have this experience, to make mistakes, of course, and to learn from the mistakes. So what are the market variables that I was talking you about? I will say that first of all, the most important thing is the culture. When you are dealing with a different country, with different people, of course you will have to take care of what is the different of culture. But this, I believe that you learn in your life. I mean, I think that not all of you are from Spain, maybe no one, but so when you came here for Spain for the first time, you will find a lot of difference in the people here, in the way of speaking, the way of dressing, in the way of behaving, in the way of the interaction between men and women. You know, there are a lot of difference that you have to understand and to respect, especially when you are doing business. And then the timings, of course, developing a new business in Mexico could be much more time-consuming than developing in Germany. But this is due again to the culture. Then the method. The method is very important. You need to understand, depending on the country you're looking for, you need to understand what is the method that you want to use to penetrate the country. Pricing. Pricing is a very delicate subject because, again, every country has its own market with its market rules. And sometimes the market rules are based also on pricing. So it's very important that sometimes a product which is sold at the same price here in Spain and at the same price in Europe, so in France, could have a completely different price in South America or in Asia. And this is something that you need to understand and to respect, especially when you want to move to a very neighbor country. I will make a sample. I was selling a product in Germany and in Italy at the same time, and we were selling the product with two different prices. Price for Italy and the price for Germany. And this was a mistake. Why? Because nowadays a lot of people are checking internet. Nowadays a lot of people before buying are checking Amazon, are checking different internet shops, and they are looking at the price. So sometimes people who are living in France could decide to purchase product in Spain and the other way around, or in Portugal to Spain. This is very easy for people to check on internet and to discuss price due to this issue. And the last thing is the benchmark. You will not be able to enter in a country without first doing a benchmark. What do I mean for a benchmark? The benchmark is the work of going yourself in the country, entering, in my case, in a pharmacy, check what are the price of the competitors, check how is the positioning of these competitors, check how the competitors are targeting the final consumers or how they are presenting the product for the label, for the marketing presentation. So the benchmark is very important if you want to understand how you want to position your product in the new market. So all these variables you have to take into consideration the time that you want to enter in a new country. But today we will focus more on culture. What is culture in business development? Because, as I said before, I believe is one of the most important things, the idea of having in front of you different people from different nationality, and to be able to make business with them is it's not easy. It's not easy because it's very easy to make friends with people from different nationality, and of course you will know that, but it's not as easy to convince someone to buy your product and to convince someone that you are a good person and you don't want to complicate their life. So let's see what are in my opinion, the levels of culture, because I would say that first of all, the first big steps is language. Usually the common language in business is English, but not in all the country, not in all the markets. English is considered as important for the business. I was 2 weeks ago. I was in Russia. And the big majority of people trying to discuss business with me, they were not speaking English at all. So, you know, you also need to be able to understand where you are going and how to prevent from this problem. In the case of Russia, I had with me a Russian translator. It was the only way to be able to communicate with I would say 80% of the people who contact me during the Congress, they were not English speakers. So every time they were coming at me, they will ask for a Russian translator. So language is a very important point. The second is religion. Why? Because this is another big aspect to take care. In some country, religion is so important that you need to respect, to understand, and be able to deal with it. I mean, here in Europe, in some countries, especially in north of Europe, religion does not exist anymore. But south of Europe, south of America, and Middle East, these are regions where religion is very important. It's something that you need to take care every time that you are in a business meeting. Then the other three are factors that influence, but in a less strong way. I would say that values and manners and education, of course, must be part of your interaction with your business partner. But this is something that everyone should be able to understand. I mean, you will never present yourself in a business meeting and you will start, I don't know, chewing a gum, or you will present yourself not dressed in a proper way. So values and manners are very important, and of course, education is something strictly required in every business meeting. So how cultural difference can affect business? As we said in communication, English, 80–90% English is very important for business meeting, apart from some countries. Then it's very important that you need to understand how to convey your message, and this is strictly related with your word and with the non-verbal communication. When you present in front of a client, it's very important that you be able to transmit to this client that you are sure of what you are saying, that you know what you are presenting, that you are completely capable of discussing anything with him. Because if your business partner in front of you will smell your fear, or will smell your insecurity, then it will be a problem, because it will take advantage of you, of course. So it's very important the way that you are speaking and the way that you can communicate your idea, not only with the words, but also with your movement of your hands, with the movement of your body. Then you have also to consider the workplace etiquette. Workplace etiquette is another very important point, because in some countries the formality are very, very important. If we consider, like in China, formality are very important, much more than in Germany. I'm always talking about Germany because they are completely different from the rest of Europe. But like I said, the formality is very important for different countries. And this is strictly related with punctuality and attitude. Some country you can be late at the business meeting and there's no problem. A lot of time I had to wait maybe 10–15 minutes before my business partner shows up. So punctuality is not always respected by your business partner. and attitude as well. You know, sometimes I remember I was in Russia. I was discussing with a partner, and the attitude of the partner looked so aggressive towards me. But this was not an aggression. This was just the way that they handle business. So you need to understand the attitude of the person in front of you, and once you understand the attitude, you will be able to judge the people, because all these tips, because these are just tips, but all these tips are just for you to understand that judging people in front of you in 5-10 minutes is very, very important while you are making business, because you need to understand if the people in front of you is listening to you. You need to understand if the people in front of you is interested in what you are saying, or if it's just waiting for you to stop talking to start talking himself. In this case, he will not listen to you. He will just go on repeating his own words. And then the organization hierarchy is another important point. The seniority of the organization is very important. I remember in China, this is a very serious matter, because you need to understand that everything that you will say to a product manager, brand manager, or export manager, it will go through directly to the CEO. So you need to respect the seniority. You need to know to who address your question in order not to skip anyone in the process. I mean, if you want to discuss a very important thing, you will not discuss it with the product manager. You will go directly to the CEO. While if you are discussing a very small day-to-day business, you will discuss it with the export manager and not with the CEO. So it's very important to understand the seniority, or on the other way, if it's a flat organization. In some countries of Europe, a lot of organizations are flat, so you will find the CEO of the company discussing with you which color of the label you have to choose for the launching, while in China this, I think, is something impossible. So let's take a look at some tips on how you have to some tips that you have to take into consideration at the time that you want to start business with someone. I have a list of countries, and the question is the pre-business chat requested? I mean, before starting business, you need to discuss about his wife, you need to discuss about his children, you need to discuss about the football match of Barcelona of yesterday night, or you just enter it directly to the point. Do you need to prepare an agenda? Some business meeting requires an agenda. Some other country, they don't require an agenda, because even if you have the agenda, they will not follow it. So you will bring your agenda, but no one will read it, and the discussion will jump from one place to the other place. This is a very Italian way of doing business. And how do we have to behave during the meeting? This is, as I said before, another important point. Are any interruption allowed? This is, in some countries, interruption are considered completely disrespect. In some other countries, it's very easy to interrupt and to change subject. How direct should be your communication strategy? Straight to the point, or starting from very, very far away and then move slowly to the point? Here in the chart, you can see the difference between the country. These are, well, you can see a big difference, first of all, for Russia. You see there's no need of chit-chat customary at the beginning, no need of agenda. Interruption, of course, are allowed, and you don't need to go straight to the point. You can discuss taking from far away. While in a country like German, you can see completely difference. There is a small need of chit-chat before, and then you need to have an agenda. Otherwise, the German people will look you very awkward, and you cannot interrupt them by any means. And you go straight to the point of bluntness. I mean, German people, they are very German, as we should say, because they go straight to the point, and this is a very effective way of doing business. But you know, if you are not used to, you can feel it a little bit strange. These are, let's take a look at Asia, Australia, and Middle East. Here as well, you can see a big difference maybe between Singapore and Hong Kong, or we can see also the difference between a country like Israel and a country like Dubai, the United Emirates. So this picture are just to understand the enormous numbers of differences between different countries that you need to understand, respect, and use when you start making business with them. So let's look some practical cases, because I think practical cases are the best way to explain things. Some practical case that, of course, I experienced during my job. I will start from Mexico. I don't know if there are some Mexican people here. No Mexican. Good. I was living in Mexico. I was doing business with Mexico as well. We can say that Mexican people, they really like personal relationships, so they prefer to have a very close relation with you, and they especially avoid disagreements. This is a very interesting thing, because every time that you ask something to a Mexican businessman and he doesn't know the answer, he will never tell you no, I don't know. He will tell you yes. So even if he doesn't know, he will tell you yes. And so you will feel a little bit awkward, because, you know, he's telling me yes, but then he's not doing it. So, or he's telling me yes, but then he doesn't know how to do it. So they will never tell you no, because they don't like disagreements. But this is not only for business. This is part of the culture of the people. I remember taking a taxi in Mexico and asking him a direction. And he was telling me, yes, I know where. Okay, so let's go. And after 20 minutes, we were just making round with no idea where he was going. So, you know, then the sense of time. For sure, you will. You have heard the word ahorita. Ahorita is a very classical Mexican word. It's the way that they. For them, ahorita, it means 5 minutes, like 5 years. You know, it's the same period of time. But this is not, I want to say, this is not a critical. This is just a way of looking at their way of communicating with people. So the sense of time for them is very different from the sense of time of European people. And then the religion as well, for them is a very important thing. All the Mexicans are very religious, so you need to respect and understand them. Negotiations are very slow in Mexico, due to the fact that first, sometimes you don't know if there is a disagreement or not. And then you have to understand that the negotiation take time, because they need their time to know you, to get to know you, which I think is one of the best way they have to make business, because it's very comfortable when you are doing business with a country, when you feel that the person in front of you wants to be your friend. I mean, I really prefer a personal relationship in the business meeting than a very cold, far away meeting. That's why I think it's very good to make business with Mexico, but you need to understand some of this point. Then Russia. As I said, I was in Russia two weeks ago. And from Russia, what we can say, there are, in order to enter in Russia, it's very important to have local connection, and to understand that this local connection could have another good connection with the authority. It's very difficult to enter in the Russian market. It's very difficult to be able to pass all their regulation and to be able to launch a product in Russia. I don't know if there is any Russian people here. Very good. So you can tell me if it's true or not. But from what I saw until today, it's very, very important to have a local connection in order to be able to pass through a lot of steps in order to reach the the possibility to launch a product. Then, again, there is an avoid of disagreements, not in the Mexican way, this is a more subtle way, and the importance of the language. As I said before, I believe that, from what I saw, that Russian businessmen, they prefer to have the business discussion in Russia. So it's important to have a Russian translator with you in order to transmit what you want to transmit without any misunderstandings. Then the bonding through drinking, this could look bad, but it's not, because, there is a very strong way of Russian businessmen to prefer to have a bonding with you through dinner and through drinking. Not in a bad way, as I said, but it's just their way to get to know you, to get in touch with you, to feel more close to you. So after a business meeting with Russia, it's very common to have lunch or to have dinner with them or both, and to discuss during dinner not about business but about everything else, and so to create a bond between you and your businessman in front of you. About the negotiation in Russia is very slow. It's very slow due to the culture of the country. So this is a good aspect as well, because sometimes fast negotiation will bring people to make mistakes. So very slow negotiation will help you to go through every single steps of the way and to reach a good agreement at the end. Then Middle East. For a lot of years I was in contact with them. I traveled a lot to Middle East. I traveled both to Dubai and to Saudi Arabia, especially to Riyadh and to Jeddah. And they are a very, very peculiar country. Why is that? Because I believe from all the countries that I made business with, they are the most difficult country to enter and to get in touch with them. Why is that? Because they have a completely different way of considering social life. I don't know if there is anyone from Middle East. I think no. Okay. So first of all, you have to understand weekend and the calendar. The weekend for them is completely different from us. So for them, Thursday and Friday, it's our Saturday and Sunday. So it means that for them, on Sunday is a day that everyone is working. So you will expect to receive some very important mails on Sunday and not to receive anything on Friday. And then the trust. They really make business only with people they trust. For them, the trustness is very, very important. But this is very difficult to achieve. Why? Because they are working with rigid social rules. I don't know if you know, but in this country it's not easy to enter in this country. It's not easy to be able to make business in this country. Why? The social rules are mostly related with religion. What do I mean? I mean that they have a strong religion, completely different from the Christian one. That's why they have some social rules related with women, with the possibility of women from Europe to travel to the country. And so you need to really, really be able to understand this difference. You need to be able to understand that their religion has its own rules, and these rules are completely different from us because, as you probably know, they have a very protective country towards women and towards families. So you need to understand, to accept this, and to be able, I will make you examples. It's considered very rude for them to ask them about their female relatives. So if you have a businessman there, you will never ask him how is your daughter, or how old is your daughter, or how is your wife, because it's considered not polite. So you need to understand this, because on the other hand, if you are in Italy and you will not ask him about his daughter or his wife, he will consider as well not polite. So it's important to understand and to respect. And while you're respecting religion, you need to understand to respect praying times. They are praying 5 times a day. So if you are in a business meeting and it's praying time, it's time to stop the meeting, to respect the praying time, and then to come back to the meeting. Also, in the rigid social rules, there is the use of alcohol. It's strictly forbidden, so no alcohol in any dinner, not asking for alcohol as well. You know, when you are flying, I remember I was flying with Air France from Paris to Riyadh, and when with your flight you're entering in the flight space of Saudi Arabia, the hostess will pass through to recover all the alcohol bottles and seal it and take it away. So you know, you have to understand that they are very strict on this. They don't allow people to break these rules. On the other hand, there is a high respect during negotiation. They are a country with a big respect for business. They believe a lot in business. They are very good businessmen, but they have a very high respect during negotiations. So they respect your position. They respect your ideas. They respect you as a person. You know, what I want to transmit is that every country has its own peculiarity, but at the end of the day, every country has its own good point that if you understand which is the good point, you will be able to make business with them. I think that the last one is China. So China is completely different again from what we saw until now, because it's a non-confrontational culture. So again, they don't like to confrontate yourself on a business discussion. It's a very hierarchical society. As we said before, you need to understand and to respect who is doing who. So you need to understand who is the CEO. You need to understand who is the most important person inside the company. And you need to follow the rules that they have. And especially during the business meeting, every business meeting is always coming with a lunch or a dinner. And again, there is a big importance of alcohol bounding. I would say that this here is much more related with alcohol than the Russia. Russia is more related with having dinner and bounding as friend. Here is more related with if to put you to a limit. I mean, every time that we had a business meeting with Chinese people, they were very, very strictly on the alcohol. I remember we were having a dinner with them in Shanghai. It was 3 years ago, and there were 10 people at the dinner, but they asked the waiters to take out all the water and to bring only bottle of whiskey, to have only whiskey during the dinner. This was very strong, you know, and we end up singing the karaoke, of course, but you know, it was their way to bound with you. It was, you need to understand, you know, it's a hard job to get drunk with a client, but sometimes you need to do it, and you need to, of course, to behave yourself, because you don't have to lose manners, you don't have to lose your presentation. Then the negotiation with Chinese is always very loud. Sometimes, I don't know if you ever heard a business discussion with Chinese people, they tend to well, not to scream, but to have a very loud tone of voice. So it's very important not to feel this like something against you, but this is just their way of doing business. And then the business card importance. This is a very important thing, because you know, for us, business card is just a card that you can use to present yourself when you go to a business meeting. While for them, it's very important to exchange business card at the beginning of the meeting. And it's very important that you give the business card with both of your hands on the corner of the business card, and you take his business card with both of your hands. So, you know, there is a kind of rituals to understand when you are exchanging business card, which makes you think that this culture is completely different from us. So what I want to transmit is this. A lot of culture have a lot of differences from us, because now we are a multicultural world. We want to move abroad and make business abroad. Well, we have to consider that making business is selling and buying is just the last part of the act. The first part is to get to know your client, because I can assure you that the more you know your client and the more close you are to your client, the better the business will be, especially in the country that we saw that they prefer to have a close relationship. So it's very important to understand them, because the more you understand them, the more you will be able to please them. And the more you will please them, then the better they will feel about you when it's time to buy your product. Another thing that I want to tell you is it's very important to be able to look at the face of your business partner, because doing everything by email, yes, is strictly necessary, it's very important, but it's not the most important thing, because still nowadays, if you don't meet with your client, if you don't see his face, if you don't share with him at dinner, and if you don't discuss with him about anything else but work, then it will be very difficult for your client to bond with you and to start a very good business relationship with you. So we need, I think, in my job, what is one of the important things is to understand what I have in front and be able to change my behavior according to the people in front of me. So you don't need to be disrespectful, you don't need to show yourself as a close person. You need to be very open-minded, that you are in front of a businessman, you are representing the company that you are working for, and for this reason you need to be able to be open-minded, as is necessary to be in this case. So I think that this is all, and I don't know if you have any question or any disagreement for what I said or what I told you until now. I will be happy to hear them.